everyone, I'm Dave, welcome to Tag, and today I want to talk to you a bit more about the ZWQ S400 Zebra. I went pretty much all around it during my review, but now that I had it for about 2 weeks between my hands, I very much tested and went all around the blaster, and I feel like I know a little bit more about it, and I want to share to you some of my point of view with it, maybe to correct some of the misconception maybe out there about this blaster. And we're gonna talk about the new ZWQ Talon magazine and the Talon magwell for the S400 Zebra at the same time. Let's go on the table. Rest assured, my opinion haven't changed about this thing. This is one of the greatest blaster I had between my hands. Not even this year, every year together, this is one of the great blaster out there. But there is some misconception about this blaster. First thing is this Talon magwell. It's a Talon magwell, but it's made for ZWQ Talon. Therefore, you're gonna need to modify it a tiny little bit. But they made it in a simple way so you could easily modify it. You see inside this magazine there is a little spline here. Since the worker magazine is a bit wider in the rear and in the middle, you will need to remove 3 to 4 millimeter on this middle spline, and the spline that is near the mag release you will need to remove 1 to 2 millimeter on this one. Since the magwell can be split into 2 parts, this is quite an easy job to achieve. What ZWQ did is not reinvent the Talon, they basically revamped the geometry. It was, to my sense, a long overdue revamp, and I'm gonna show you right now. You see, this is a ZWQ Talon, and this is a regular 15 round Talon magazine. There are some fundamental difference between those two magazines. While they basically have the same geometry, they don't have the exact same geometry. First thing is the general shape. The ZWQ Talon have the thin front like the worker Talon, but it also got a thin rear, which the worker Talon doesn't have. That's why you're gonna have to modify one of the spline on your magwell. Second thing, that middle spline that you need to shorten for 3 to 4 millimeter, that middle one right there, it's because of the loading bay and the little lips on the magazine. You see how the worker is very wide and how the ZWQ is quite thin and pretty much at 13 millimeter. There is quite a good reason for that. For worker, this use was for older blaster when the magazine was designed, which was quite a few years ago. It was to accommodate the wide pusher that there was on the Longshot, Terminator, Prophecy, Retaliator kit, and some manufacturer kept that kind of geometry for quite a few times because the original Nexus Pro, the original Striker, the Swift from worker again would need a wide mouth for the pusher to go through. But nowadays there is no blaster that required a magazine that wide so you could fit a 16 millimeter barrel through it. I mean, right now there is practically none. Every single worker Talon blaster that have a skinny pusher will benefit from those magazines. And it's not just a question of look or because just the mouth is slimmer, it's the whole construction. Let's take a Talon. You see there is this line here, this seam. It's because it's made into 2 halves. This one is a one-piece polycarbonate construction. It's quite amazing. The frosting is very nice on it. Definition of detail is pretty much there. The quality of material is spot on. But there is another point visible. Here we see the spring. Here we don't see the spring. It's basically completely clear when you look at it. It's because the worker magazine uses a standard magazine spring, while the new ZWQ magazine works the exact same way as the S400 magazine with drum spring in them. And that is a huge advantage. When using a standard spring magazine, it's not even just Worker Talon, it's pretty much any magazine with a standard magazine spring, those zigzag spring there. There is something that's happening when you are going like more than 2/3 of the compression, is that any dart you add put an exponential level of more compression on your spring, making it that if you completely fill it to the brim with the slightly used dart, that the foam is slightly softer, they will start to crush your dart. While with a drum spring like that, the force when you put one dart, the tension on that spring is pretty much the same all the way to the bottom, making it a way more progressive mag and way better on your dart. Plus, since the mouth is so narrow, everything stay in perfect line in your blaster. That means less chance for a missed chamber. That is a lot. All around, those are crazy. And for the one of you that don't like the bottom plate, it is easily removable, holding by one pin. Nothing stops you from building or designing a smaller bottom plate for it and just reinstall it. Now, let's take a look at this blaster construction, because there's some misconception, like I mentioned earlier, about it, and I want to clear out some point. And at the same time, we're going to install this thing, and I'm going to show you that it's quite simple. You could keep both magwell and adapt it like I am going to do. If I plan on using only ZWQ, I am going to leave the big magwell on it, but if I'm planning on using Talon and my Zebra during the day, I am gonna install this one. To undo this magwell, you basically are gonna need that small silver Allen wrench that came with the kit. It's gonna be this one, and this one to match the 3 hole that hold this thing in there. And normally it should slide out easily and you should be able to put it back in. While I undo this thing, I want to address a few misconceptions about this blaster. I received in the comment a question about the construction of it, like wishing the company would have put some heat insert into this blaster because a screw directly on plastic will break the shell. While I agree that screwing into plastic directly, oops, not this one, sorry. While screwing into plastic directly would mess with the shell, putting heat insert into this blaster would be a downgrade. I understand that Worker is doing it and a lot of 3D printer, 3D designer do it, and it's a very good way, very clean, proper way to secure a shell. But since the beginning of their business, ZWQ never revert to screwing a shell directly into plastic. So this worries about this blaster is basically irrelevant, because as you can see, we have M4 hardware. Then you take the big one. Normally it does the trick. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. You see, those little screw pins are what holds the two halves of the shell together, meaning there is never any contact between the threads and the plastic, therefore preventing a lot of wear on your shell shot after shot after shot. And even if you go with the heat inserts for a blaster, there is a way to tight your blaster too much so you're gonna crack something or unset a heat insert. With those screw pins, they are exactly to the right length, meaning if you screw it tight, the pin is fully closed and the blaster is at the right distance. Nothing is gonna crush, nothing is gonna force. This is way superior. And now, this thing just slide out. At the same time, we have a look at the Basically the only plastic internal into this blaster, which are the dart gate and the little pusher for the dart. While a metal pusher would not be very useful, I will agree that a little metal dart gate would be great on this thing. Now let's take that Talon magwell, insert it in. Let me put back the pin from the other side like they were installed. Same goes for this one. Go from the other side. Another misconception I had in the question, in the comment, I think it was the same comment, was about the bearing on the prime. Describing those as cheap roller going on plastic. Yes, polycarbonate is a plastic, that is the shell basically. But cheap plastic roller, what was referred as cheap plastic roller, are Delrin or Teflon coated metal bearing held by an M4 screw. This does not qualify as cheap in any way in my book. And now it is replaced. So in not very long I was able to install this new magwell, and now the blaster have an 18 round magazine. That's quite nice. I mean, it is an easy access, about as complicated as here for the spring, like I showed in my original review. Like, you just dismantle the front, you can pull it out, change the spring. Maybe, I know I mentioned it in my original review, but the barrel, I received question like, I wish this company would have put some thread like Worker did. They do. Like, ZWQ have thread on their barrel for the last, I think it's 18 months. They have the same thread as Worker because they are going with what the hobby have and what the hobby wants. Meaning this blaster is pretty much compatible with near everything you already have at home. Standard Picatinny, threaded barrel, the spring is easily accessible. That magwell is almost Worker Talon, but it's Talon geometry if you have those ZWQ Talon. I mean, this is nice. Even the grip is a standard AR grip on it. You could swap it as you like. And to note, okay, for the, I don't remember, I received that comment or that question quite a bit. Does it creak or does it crack? No, not really. I mean, even if I want to twist that thing, it's not gonna twist. This is reinforced polycarbonate. This is not a cheap Nerf blaster or cheap Dart Zone blaster. This is a notch above, a big notch above. I mean, ZWQ with this blaster, their new magazine, they just put themselves right up there next to Worker on the market. Like I said, if you're on the market for a compact, pump action, spring powered powerhouse, this is exactly the perfect blaster for you. I mean, this thing goes to anything between 70 and up to 300 and 350. This is really a powerhouse. This is basically, if I have to compare with Worker, it's really like having a Kunlun in the size of a seagull, priced as a seagull. This is really a big feat for ZWQ to have pulled with this blaster. It is virtually perfect in every way as for blaster goes. Mag compatibility, it's gonna be up to you, but for me, this blaster is gonna run on its own mag. It is very close to being perfect. And to have a blaster that is that smooth, that reliable, that sturdy, that rigid, you might have to spend quite a bit more money than you will fetch for this blaster. I mean, you might even have to go for a full aluminum CNC blaster to beat this thing. ZWQ really started the year very hard. For the competition, I'm hoping they have something very, very cool up their sleeve, because this blaster is already high up there for my blaster of the year. This is crazy. Now that I have experienced this S400 for myself and inspected all around, I just can't wait for the rest of 2026. ZWQ is already hard at work at their new flywheeler pistol and the return of the S300, which is supposed to be an AEB. So 2026 is pretty much planned for ZWQ. I just can't wait to see the blaster they are gonna give us. If it's half as good as this thing, it is gonna be a crazy year. Hopefully the competition is gonna follow and bring something as cool on the market. And if they do, it's gonna be an amazing year for us. Yeah, I think that's it for this small video. In the meantime, you can always follow me on Facebook and Instagram at @LNerdGuy. Please leave a like and comment, subscribe for more content. Don't forget to hit that bell to stay notified for my latest video. This was Dave Fatag. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.